Keir Bradford-Grey joins us live. She's an attorney at Montgomery McCracken who focuses on white-collar and government investigations. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. What were your key takeaways from the hearings?
So my key takeaways from the hearing was, number one, that Trump is a real threat to our democracy. He's rogue and temperamental, and he cannot accept a failure and defeat and will lie at all costs to maintain his position of power. So that was number one, first and foremost, that was solidified. Secondly, I mean, all of the different footage that we saw, I saw even the more visceral role that some of the supporters played in attacking the police, assaulting the police, threatening the police. All the while, Trump and other people who had a duty to act did not. Those officers were left there to fend for themselves. Those officers were attacked several times, and no one came to their defense. I mean, those threats turned from being outraged about an election to outraged against police who sought to protect our Capitol. And so, you know, some of the things also that I took away were that people that were very close to Trump, that advised him that this conspiracy theory was false, he ignored, and they still went with him and campaigned on this lie, even though they knew it to be false.
Yeah, it's incredible. There's a lot of whys came out of that. You'd mentioned some of that footage, that never-before-seen clips. Those never-before-seen clips were seen from President Trump's closest advisors, as you mentioned, including his own daughter, saying that they did not believe the president's claims that it was stolen. And now he's speaking out against his own daughter. What do you think about this?
I think that he'll do anything he can to maintain his own perception of reality. And it's sad that we elected this person to be a leader of our free world, and this is where he is mentally. His own daughter, who has been a loyalist to Trump from day in and day out, has said under oath and in an investigation that I accepted Attorney Barr's discussion that this was not stolen and it was all made up. However, I don't give President Trump's daughter a pass, because even though Attorney Barr told her that and she accepted it, she still went on to champion these things in several different venues with her father after Attorney Barr had really kind of revealed that he believed that this was not a lie, that this was a lie and the election was not stolen.
Right. The committee, meanwhile, accused Pennsylvania Congressman Scott Perry and other Republican lawmakers of requesting a pardon in the days after that attack. And Perry denies that, and those pardons were never granted. But why do you think the lawmakers felt like they needed some type of legal protection?
Yeah. So if Scott Perry had called my office and asked me for my advice in terms of, you know, helping to protect him from being prosecuted, I probably would have advised him to seek a pardon if that were available. Quite frankly, these things aren't available to average people, but someone who is helping the president to conspire to defraud the United States by confirming a lie, but not only just confirming a lie by spending, you know, through the rhetoric and the narrative, he went one step further, which really does help to prove a case against him for conspiracy to defraud the United States. He actually tried to place a person in the position of power to overturn the election, and that was Attorney Jeffrey Clark, who was a Trump loyalist. So these things, with action steps taken in furtherance of that conspiracy, really does put him at the forefront of being, subject to criminal prosecution on the conspiracy to defraud. Not to mention, there were texts and conversations that he used between himself and the attorney Jeffrey Clark, who he tried to get to be the acting attorney general to overturn this election, that he used some kind of app that allows the information to be deleted. That in and of itself is obstruction of justice. And so these possible crimes, if he were afraid of being indicted, these are the suggestions that an attorney would tell him to do, which is reach out to someone who had the ability to pardon him and ask for such, because we knew that Trump was giving out pardons pretty willy-nilly to people who were involved in this. And so I do believe that this shows his consciousness of guilt, and I think it will come out later.
All right. Well, as always, thank you for your insight, Keir. I'm sure we'll be talking to you quite a bit over the next 5 hearings. Thank you. And have a good weekend. Thank you. And stay with Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of the Capitol assault hearings. We will have the latest from Washington when the committee holds its next hearing on Monday.